Yeah, hello and welcome to this online seminar about our new KNX blind and switching actuator range. My name is Tobias Schlitzer. I'm the head of the international sales here at JUNG. And in the next minute, I would like to give you an overview about our new combined KNX blind and switching actuator range. What did we do? We did, of course, improve quite a lot in terms of the hardware. So we have a new housing, a new connection terminal. We did the devices in a KNX data secure way. And of course, we did a lot of improvements within the ETS application. So the result is now a complete new, modern and fresh KNX application. At the start, I would like to show you the overview of the portfolio we are having within the new range before we jump in the ETS application. So to do so, let's start on the online catalog where we can have the best overview. Let's go. Yeah, so we are now on the JUNG homepage, and I always like to go via the online catalog where I can find the chapter for the KNX system, and under devices for rail mounting we find our actuators, and here we have already the range of the actuators available. Of course, we have already the existing devices or the older ones, and you see here the three new switch blind actuators. On the one hand, we have the 6-gang switching or 3-gang blinds. We have the 16-gang switching or 8-gang blinds, and we have the 24-gang switching and the 12-gang blinds. Of course, the devices differ in terms of the hardware and the layout, the amount of channels, but the application for all the three is the same. So I can just open this one, which is the 24-channel actuator. And here we can see already quite a nice thing that for the 24 channels switching or 12-gang blinds, we only need to have 12 rail units. So we have quite a compact device which offers a lot of functionalities and a lot of channels, which makes this device quite cost efficient in terms of price per channel, but of course also in terms of space you need in your enclosure. So a quite cost efficient device for your projects. What else do we have? When we have a closer look here on the hardware, you can see now that we have a different design or a different layout in terms of the screw terminals. We have now a screw bar on the top and of the bottom of the device. We talk about POTS screws, so modern and quite easy to handle screws terminals. We have a status LED for each channel on the front of the device, so we can directly see which channel is either on or off. And of course, when we talk about blinds, we can see is the blind up and down. Furthermore, we have a manual operation. So for instance, when we are talking about the construction phase of the building, when the project in total is not ready yet, we can still switch on the manual operation and select each channel manually and switch it on or off, or move up and down the blinds. So this is of course quite handy and quite useful when the project is not completely finished yet. Yeah, what else do we have in with these devices? Of course, all the new blind and switching actuators have now implemented the new KNX data secure technology. So those devices can be used in data secure projects where you have a need or the requirement for a higher security standard. These devices are compatible with the data secure standard. Plus, JUNG offers now a new ETS app, which is called ETS Service App. And with this ETS Service App, we can update those devices in the future. So when we have a new firmware with probably new functions, or even what from time to time it happens, we need to have a bug fixing, then with this ETS app we can update the firmware of the devices. In terms of functions, when we talk about the switching operation mode, of course you will find all the needed and available functions within the ETS. You can define if the output is a normally open or normally closed contact. We have a lot of feedback functionality. We have integrated a quite sophisticated logic operation within the device, so a lot of logic functions can be used inside the hardware. We have central switching functions. Of course, we have time functions like switch on delay or switch off delay, staircase. So I guess this is quite common within the ETS world. We have scene functions, and we have an operation hour counter inside the actuator. When it comes to the blinds as well, we will have all the needed functionalities you need in our days for a modern blind or shutter operation, including directly the sled position, controllable scene functionality, and sun protection combined with auto heating cooling. So a modern and fresh functionality in the application. And to have a closer look into the application, I will now jump into the ETS. So we now directly jumped from the online catalog into the ETS, and you can see I have already created a small demo project, and I've opened the catalog and selected, in this case, the 6-gang switch or 3-gang blind actuator. And you will see that we have two different types of applications. On the one hand, we have the, I would say, normal ETS application without the KNX data secure functionality. And below, with this application, you can see this is indicated by this little symbol here with this little shield. This indicates that this application is the application for the KNX data secure functionality. So why do we have two different types of applications? Assuming that you do not need the data secure function in your project, means that you also do not have to upload the device certificate, that you do not have to set the password for the project, that you do not have to set all the different parameters. Therefore, we have created this application, because this application doesn't ask you to do all the things I just mentioned, because you don't need them in the project. In case you need to have data secure, then of course you have to take this application, and then the ETS will ask you to upload the certificate and to set the password, etc., etc. So this saves you a lot of effort and a lot of time in case you do not need the data secure functionality. Of course, the device itself, hardware-wise, it's the same. It can be both. It can operate in a data secure function and in a non-data secure functionality. So now I have already added the device in my project, so I can close the catalog and directly go to the settings of the device. Here you can see what I just mentioned, that the device basically is data secure ready. You just need to use, for this purpose, the data secure application. So we leave it now like it is. By the way, here you always see below we have a little help window. So this help window explains or gives you a help about the topics you see on the top, or where you selected, or where you have selected the parameters via the mouse click. Then this help view is dynamic and will change according to what you have selected. When we go now under the general settings, you can see here now that we have basically 6 channels available. For security purpose, the device, when it comes from the factory, is always set to blind operations. So if you would like to have the channels for the switching purpose, then you have to select here switching. And then, as just said, I have selected now the switching here. You have probably seen that the help window has been changed. I can also say, okay, channel 5 and 6 I do not need at the moment. This is spare for the future, so I deactivate. And then you probably also have seen that on the left side, my Explorer tree also changes. So when I say here now again, enable, here we have the output for channel 5 and 6. So this is also quite nice. Imagine now you have the 24 channel output. The Explorer tree here can get quite long. So you only see those functions and parameters you need in your project. So this makes the overview as clean as possible for you and much easier to have an overview. Under the general settings, we can also enable now the logic functions. So in total, we can have up to 8 logic functions. I just leave it as one. Later you will see what we can do with those logic functions. When I enlarge now the general functions, you see that we have 2 different entries for the different types of outputs we have created. On the one hand, the blind outputs. So this is the normal, I would say standard you can set. So the delay after the bus voltage recovery. But we can also have some central functions. So when I enable my central functions, you can see that I have in total 6 of those. I just give it a name here. I would say goodbye. Later you will see where you need them. Of course, the safety functions, in this case for the blinds, this could be a wind alarm or a frost protection, that the blinds automatically move according to the status of the wind or the frost protection. The same we have now for the switching outputs. Of course, also central functions and the time delay are possible. I told you a couple of minutes ago that we have a manual operations on the device. Of course, here you can do the settings for the manual operations. When the manual operation is accessible by the user, if it's always the case or just temporarily, this can be done via this entry here. Status indication, also mentioned, we have LEDs on the device showing the status of the channel. This can be then set in here. And when we now jump to the outputs, in this case we set this output, or these 2 outputs actually, as a blind output. I can give it in this case a name. I just say, for instance, living room. So, and this will be then taken over also here in my Explorer tree. So again, imagine you have the 24 channel actuator, which is then quite long. This is quite handy that you directly know what the channel is for. And of course, under the communication objects, this name is also mentioned as well. Then we can decide, okay, do we have a Venetian blind? Do we have a normal shutter? Do we have a roof window? I would say basic functions we are used from the ETS. And here you can also see that we have now, because we have enabled them under the general functions, the central functions. And here I have created one central function which is called goodbye. So I would like my channel 1 and 2 to listen to the goodbye. And I would like the blinds in this case to go up or down. Or I can directly, depending on the value, or I can directly say what's going on. So here I can define what action my blind will do when I send a 0 or a 1 on the central communication object for goodbye. Of course, I can also open the further settings of my blinds in here. So, and then we have the entrance for time. Here I have the possibility to say, and here I have to quickly jump back to the general operations, because here I didn't enable the function setting the travel time via the bus. When I enable this in here, you will see when I go back to the times that I have received now this parameter here on the top. What does this mean? Again, assuming you have the 24 channel actuator, which then means 12 channel of blinds, or you have even more actuators, and to all the outputs you have connected the same type of blinds. So all of the blinds have basically the same traveling time. Then, of course, it would be a lot of effort to insert all the traveling times in each and every channel. So here we can say, okay, we define one channel as the master, and only in this master I have to define my traveling time. And this traveling time I can do by a kind of teach-in process with the ETS. So I send a command on the bus, now please set the traveling time. Then I have to move up and move down my blinds, and the time will be calculated and be stored under the master. And when I set to all the other channels I would like to link to this traveling time, I will give it the function slave. Of course, I have to connect them via a communication object, and then automatically all the slaves will have the same traveling time as the master. So this, I guess, is quite nice and quite easy. Also, when you have to change this, you only have to change it with the master, and the slave will take over the time then automatically. So nice function, I would say. Of course, further enabling functions, the safety, for instance, when we have enabled them under the general settings, a set here would be the wind alarm and the frost protection, for instance. Feedback telegrams, I guess this is nothing special. This is quite common within the ETS world. When we jump now to output 3, which we have defined as a normal switching output, of course we can also give it a name in here. I just call it, for instance, ceiling light. I just want to switch on. Here I define if I have a open or close contact. I can also define the switching behavior after the ETS recovery. I can say, do I want to monitor this channel on a cyclic base? The central function in this case is not available because we didn't enable it under the general settings. Also here I can have further functions. I can say, okay, I would like to have a time delay, I would like to have staircase functions, seam functions, etc., etc. So quite comprehensive functionalities and a quite comprehensive application in this case. And last but not least, of course, the status feedback or the feedback telegrams, which we can define to be sent on the bus. So I told you, I close this here, that we also have implemented some logic functions in this application. And here you can see that we have a kind of graphical overview what you are doing in here. You can give the logic also a name in this case. You can define what type do you would like to have, the normal basic logic gates, converter, comparator, limit value, etc., etc. Of course, and then, for instance, under the logic gates, you can have all the different gates you normally need in a project. I just keep it for the end. And then here you can say, okay, what is my input? It's deactivated or it is used. I would like to have to invert it, yes or no. In total, I can have 4 inputs, and then, of course, the calculated output will be sent on the bus. So I would say all projects in our days need some basic logic functionalities, and within our combined switching blind actuators, you have now the possibility to have in total up to 8 different logic functions. Yeah, I would say this is enough for a basic overview. I guess this is quite a nice application which should fulfill all the needs you need in your project, and quite a nice device. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed all the features within the ETS application. Here you have seen, or you can see now, the physical hardware, the different types of the KNX actuators. So we are having the 6-gang switch or 3-gang blind actuators. We are having the 16 switch or 8 blind actuator range, and of course the biggest one we are having, which is the 24-channel switch actuator or 12-channel blind actuator range. So I guess a great portfolio which you can use in your projects. And as a brief summary, I would like to show you now a short movie showing again the features and the portfolio of our KNX combined switch and blind actuator range. Enjoy! Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the movie. At the end, yeah, nothing more to say. So just thank you for your attendance. I hope you enjoyed what you have seen and that you can probably use it in the next projects you're running. So far, I hope to see you soon. Stay healthy and goodbye.